Welcome back to Crux Stationalis, the Roman Station Church network. Today's Roman Station Church is San Pietro in Vincoli, or in English, St. Peter in Chains. It is a minor basilica and is best known for being the home of Michelangelo's Statue of Moses, part of the tomb of Pope Julius II. A church of such great significance in Rome, we wonder why it's not included in the great pilgrimage itinerary known as the Sette Chiese, or Seven Church Pilgrimage. A lot of people ask me what my favorite Roman station churches are. I tend to exclude the major basilicas of St. Peter and Paul, St. Mary Major, and the Lateran, and I say San Pietro in Vincoli. There is a calm of coming up the hill away from some very noisy streets of Rome, and on Monday of the first week of Lent, entering into the church in our Statio, our procession, and being covered in sunlight as we chant the Litany of the Saints. These are the steps we ascend to arrive at San Pietro in Vincoli, coming up from Via Cavour. Before we arrive at the church, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and hit the like button. When you're done watching, don't forget to share with your family and friends. As you ascend, you'll meet Roman, tourist, and musician alike. And here we are at the minor basilica of San Pietro in Vincoli, the Roman station church for the Monday of the first week of Lent. St. Peter in Chains is also known as the Basilica Eudoxiana. It was first rebuilt on older foundations between the years 432 to 440 to house the relic of the chains which bound St. Peter when he was imprisoned in Jerusalem. The episode called the Liberation of St. Peter, recounted in Acts chapter 12. Let's read the account. Herod proceeded to arrest Peter also. It was the feast of unleavened bread. He had him taken into custody and put in prison, under the guard of 4 squads of 4 soldiers each. He intended to bring him before the people after Passover. Peter thus was being kept in prison, but prayer by the church was fervently being made to God on his behalf. On the very night before Herod was to bring him to trial, Peter, secured by doubled chains, was sleeping between 2 soldiers, while outside the door guards kept watch on the prison. Suddenly the angel of the Lord stood by him, and a light shone in the cell. He tapped Peter on the side and awakened him, saying, "Get up quickly." The chains fell from his wrist. The angel said to him, "Put on your belt and your sandals." He did so. Then he said to him, "Put on your cloak and follow me." So he followed him out, not realizing that what was happening through the angel was real. He thought he was seeing a vision. They passed the first guard, then the second, and came to the iron gate leading out to the city, which opened for them by itself. They emerged and made their way down an alley, and suddenly the angel left him. The apse is very large and belongs to the original 5th century basilica. However, the 2 large rectangular windows are 15th century. The frescoes on the apse wall were executed in the year 1577 by Jacopo Coppi il Meglio. They depict St. Peter liberated from prison. Bishop Juvenal presents the chains to Empress Eudoxia, and Eudoxia presents the chains to the Pope. Below these frescoes are the choir stalls of the canons, following the curve of the wall. The apse conch is also frescoed by Coppi and has a cycle of scenes concerning the legend of the crucifix of Beirut, which allegedly bled when it was profaned. The chains were eventually presented to Pope Leo I. The tradition holds that when Leo compared them to the chains of St. Peter's final imprisonment in the Mamertine prison in Rome, the 2 chains miraculously fused together. As you see, these chains are now kept in a reliquary under the main altar in the basilica. The basilica, consecrated in the year 439 by Pope Sixtus III, has undergone several restorations. among them a restoration by Pope Hadrian I, and further work in the 11th century. From the years 1471 to 1503, in which year he was elected Pope Julius II, Cardinal della Rovere, the nephew of Pope Sixtus IV, effected notable rebuilding. The front portico attributed to Baccio Pontelli was added in 1475. The cloister, built between the years 1493 and 1503, has been attributed to Giuliano da San Gallo. Further work was done at the beginning of the 18th century under Francesco Fontana, and another renovation in the year 1875. This fresco is by Giovanni Battista Parodi, The Miracle of the Chains. It was completed in the year 1706. It depicts the miracle I spoke of, wherein the two chains fused of their own accord. This altarpiece is by Cristoforo Roncalli, or Pomerancio, the same artist who painted the apse fresco of Santi Giovanni e Paolo, the Roman Station Church for the Friday after Ash Wednesday. This altar holds a mosaic of Saint Sebastian from the 7th century. This mosaic is related to an outbreak of plague in Pavia in northern Italy. The relics of Saint Sebastian were taken there in order to stop the outbreak of plague in the year 680, since Saint Sebastian was believed to have been born in the province of Lombardia. An altar was constructed in his honor at San Pietro in Vincoli in Pavia. As a symbol of the subsequently reinforced relationship between Pavia and Rome, an identical altar in honor of Saint Sebastian was built at the Roman Station Church of the same name, resulting in a parallel cult of the saint in both regions. And now we explore Michelangelo's Moses, which makes part of Pope Julius II's funeral monument along with that of his family della Rovere. Giorgio Vasari, in the life of Michelangelo, wrote, Michelangelo finished the Moses in marble, a statue of 5 braccia, or just under 4 meters, or 13 feet, unequaled by any modern or ancient work. Seated in a serious attitude, he rests with one arm on the tablets, and with the other holds his long, glossy beard, the hairs so difficult to render in sculpture, being so soft and downy that it seems as if the iron chisel must have become a brush. The beautiful face, like that of a saint and mighty prince, seems, as one regards it, to need the veil to cover it. So splendid and shining does it appear, and so well has the artist presented in the marble the divinity with which God had endowed that holy countenance. Thank you for joining us today at the Roman Station Church of San Pietro in Vincoli. We will see you tomorrow at Sant Anastasia.